Hello everyone, thanks for joining in. I am Shubha Kankaria and welcome to episode 3 of Dastai Rai. It is a travel talk where we get to know about amazing places through wonderful stories of various travelers. So before talking about our today's guest, I want to ask, have you ever got to know about a place through a book or maybe a movie and then you decided to explore that place? If I talk about myself, it has happened couple of times that I have imagined to go to a place and then never went ahead with that plan. But interestingly, our today's guest not just only imagined but relived the famous novel called The Beach by traveling on the same trail mentioned in the book. If we talk about his profession, he heads product and data science for cricket.com. And if we talk about his passion, that could be easily witnessed through his adventurous travel stories. So, guys, without any further delay, let's get on board Karthik Kannan.
I think he should be joining in few moments.
Hello
Hi,
everyone.
Karthik.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Doing fine.
I'm doing good. Yeah, and welcome to Dastai Rahi. I'm so excited to have you.
Pleasure is mine too. Thank you.
Okay, so I think without wasting any time, let's begin. So to begin with, I know you are kind of a beach person, or if I should put it in a right way, you have more inclination towards the beaches. Is that right? Am I guessing it right?
I think in between I had an arthritis problem, so I
Okay.
couldn't go to cold places. So it just so happened that
Okay.
I started going to places that had heat and wasn't chill. But now yes,
Uh-huh.
all of that is now solved. So I'm as much I'm hoping to be a mountain person for the next trips because I know the blog is heavily skewed towards beaches.
Yeah, that's why my assumption is coming from. Okay, so talking about beaches, so if we talk about India, which is one of the most beautiful beaches you have set your foot on?
Okay, in terms of color, if I have to just pick just on color, I probably in the choices between Lakshadweep, which is Bangaram, and India,
Mm-hmm.
which is Kalapathar, these two,
Okay.
and of course Dhanushkodi in Tamil Nadu, that's the state I come from. These
Yeah.
are places that I could think of, but I'm looking at vibe. I probably go with Arambol Keri in Goa, very dear to me.
Okay.
Because I keep going very frequently. But these are the four beaches that I can think of um,
Uh-huh.
that have made a large impression on my mind.
Okay. So any interesting stories related to beaches? Do you have like you have visited Lakshadweep and you said Andaman and all?
Sure, Lakshadweep, really not so many interesting stories, but definitely in the Andaman. This
Mm-hmm.
goes back to 2008. I was studying. I was much younger, studying, doing my MBA, and why?
Okay.
Because I think the last day of our course, and I had my Assamese friend Prakriti. He was showing me a place on Wiki Travel. That beach was so beautiful, serenely bluish green. I said, "Kahan hai ye?" I mean, it's somewhere outside
Uh-huh.
in Chennai. That's where I was studying. And he said,
Yeah.
actually, this is Rodanagar beach, is in Andaman. And that's his traditional Assamese.
Yeah.
यार ये बहुत दूर है तू ऐसे कैसे रेकमेंड करते हो मेरे को जाने के लिए he said no
Hmm.
चेन्नई से एक फ्लाइट है 4:30 बजे को अर्ली मॉर्निंग ये this is about
Acha.
8 in the night next morning
Uh-huh.
there was a flight and
Okay.
we were actually on our way to watch a movie called Tashan, a Kareena Kapoor movie, and I dropped them back at
Okay.
1 in the morning, and I couldn't
Yeah.
believe. I actually ended up called a friend, asked him to book tickets, so he and me were going, and we had no idea of what the Andamans looked like. Nothing. We just heard that this beach is there, and we said, "With that,
Yeah.
we'll go there." And we land there at what 6:30 in the morning, and then we discovered
Okay.
all of the boats that go to Havelock Island have actually departed. I mean, it starts at 6
What
a.m.
what you landed at around 7 o'clock in the morning?
6:30, 4:30 flight, Deccan Air Deccan flight, and
Okay.
I think Deccan had not yet been, Kingfisher then. It was still the beautiful air.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
once that had happened, we reached Port Blair at 6:30, and took me a while to understand the city. The city was basically just 4 or 5 roads put together that made up for the city. But
Yeah.
our only thing was okay. We've seen this beach Havelock. We wanted to go there. So when we went to the boat jetty, someone told us that there's only one boat in the morning that goes at 6 o'clock. That is like your easiest one to find a ticket on. There is, of course, a speed boat, but there are lesser seats. It's available at 1 p.m. and
Okay.
tickets are available. And I
So
wasn't
at that time, like Macruz and other private operators were there.
none of the. This is 2008, so none of the private
2008.
operators were there.
Yeah.
And
And how many flights actually went to Andaman at that time?
no clue, man. I just picked up the next morning's flight, 4:30, 10,000 rupees flight.
Was that expensive? Like you booked a last minute flight.
See, I didn't look at cost at that point because I was also having a lot of surplus cash at that point because I'd done an internship college and they
Okay.
paid me good money, which I didn't get the time to use it. But, okay,
Okay.
the money is there, and anyway, I'm a budget traveler, so while that flight cost me 10,500, I think the whole trip cost me 13,000. The rest of the 4 days for staying, for eating, traveling everywhere.
Wow.
We missed even the afternoon boat. We didn't find tickets, and I remember spending the night in some random place. And then I think around that time IPL was just starting, so I was engaged myself watching the IPL. Then next morning
Yeah.
we got on the ship. We went all the way to Havelock Island, and the scene I saw was something that I was never prepared for because it was this green color water and this perfect sand that curves, sandbank, that curves. And I had just had a very basic digital camera, but I just couldn't stop clicking that because I thought if I have to describe this beautiful scene, words can't do justice. Somebody has to visually see this place. And
Yeah.
I don't Havelock Island or Radhanagar Beach was very famous back then because when I went, there were only 2 hotels in whole of Havelock Island, and someone told me,
Okay.
अगर आपको यहाँ पे रहना है तो 100 रुपए रात का 150 रुपए अगर आपको बीच पे
Gotcha.
तो barefoot पे रह सकते हो $150 so it was about which one potentially stay and since I didn't really have those budgets to go stay at Barefoot, but I went there.
Yeah.
I spent about 3 hours at Barefoot just drinking tea because they give tea in a big pot. It was the start of the monsoon season, and it's all
Yeah.
green around. You've been to Barefoot, right? So you know
Yeah,
how.
yeah. I've been to Andamans, but I went in 2017, and you're talking about like 10 years before, like 2008. So there would be like a lot of difference, I guess.
Yes, there weren't like the today when you go to Havelock Island, you see a lot of vans. As soon as your boat comes, these vans are ready to ferry you. It had
Right,
just
right.
had 2 of these Maruti Omni vans, and I decided I'd take
Uh-huh.
the 3 rupee ticket, sit on the bus, and go. And it started raining heavily. It was brilliant to
Yeah.
get out of the bus, feel the rain, and absolutely no worries. And the conductors have stopped saying, "Okay, we ho gaya. This is the only place where you can stay. I think you should keep here." And
Okay. That was near Radhanagar Beach.
that was, I think, about 200 meters before Radhanagar Beach, and we
Yeah.
figured out there is no hotel there. So
Huh.
I ended up having next morning at 5:30 in the morning. I ended up having jhal puri for breakfast. That's how bad it was.
Jhalmuri. Yeah. Like people don't know, like if they don't know, like Jhalmuri is a kind of a snack, very famous in West Bengal, like
Yeah, it's
Bengalis
the bhel puri,
snack.
analogous to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because it's all made of murmura and all that other chaat things and all.
So I think that way, the Andaman strip totally created that travel talk kida inside me because it had been dormant. Because when you're studying in an MBA course, half your time is
Yeah.
spent figuring out classes and then trying to help find with placement. And then that 1 year just went away in a blaze, and then suddenly I discovered that there is this whole new beautiful world. What if travel could be a profession, or traveling,
Uh-huh.
and that's what set the kida in my mind of maybe I should start documenting some of my travels. So,
Yeah.
but by then I did have a blog, but I wasn't very frequent in documenting it. But yes, I think that trip basically showed me that I could change my destiny by just boarding a flight in 10 hours or 5 hours and be in a completely new world, new possibilities. So I had done that even I think a little later, the following year when I did a last minute trip to go to Bangkok because that was the only visa on arrival.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's something that I remember from the Andaman adventure back in 2008.
Yeah. But how was staying in that 100 rupee place? Like, what was that place like?
Well, see, the only thing I really cared about is that does it have a power connection where I can charge my camera, the battery. So
Yeah.
that's the only, and I mean mobile signals weren't that cool then because messengers we didn't have messengers back then. You had that physical
Right.
talk or MSN messenger. So
Yeah.
it's only for the camera that I needed, and we didn't even have a fan. It was a very small hut. Um,
Okay.
100 square feet of space, half of the room that I'm in right now. That's how small it was, and
Yeah.
yeah, and there was no toilet, so we had to actually go out. And I remember the toilet that I went to suddenly didn't have water, and apparently the guy who was running the small shack forgot to fill water. So I had to actually. It was raining heavily. I had to put my bucket out there, half my pants, collect. So definitely not a very smooth experience, but very rustic. And for that night, I was like, okay, let's just open up to a new experience because I'd never done something like that before. Wasn't very
Yeah.
comfortable, but no fans, and the food was definitely a problem. And because both of us who were traveling were vegetarians, it was even more
Uh-huh.
problem. So yeah, that night was a little tough trying to find food options because you're dependent only on public transport. Even if I wanted to go have food, I go all the way back to the jetty, which is
Yeah.
about 15, 16 kilometers. And buses, as you know, in the stop at 5:36.
Yeah.
It's it stops much earlier than Goa, where everybody at 7 p.m. is sitting inside their places and just chilling around. So Andaman in
Right.
2008 was a very very different place. So we kind of struggled for our food, but I think the sights that we saw there off Radhanagar beach, the color of the water, and nobody on the beach, right? I think I was surprised that such a place existed in India and I didn't know. It was the same feeling that I had when I saw Dil Chahta Hai, I think 2 years after the movie came. I was like, how did I miss this movie types? And even more was, how did I miss going to Goa when Dil Chahta Hai told me that a paradise called Goa existed? I think my first Goa trip
Yeah.
2006, 5 years after the movie, 5.5 years after the movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, these are some of those thoughts that you have saying, "Okay, what took me so long to get here types."
Yeah, yeah. And how was your experience in Lakshadweep like? Like you said, you have been to Lakshadweep, and there's always a comparison between Andaman and Lakshadweep. So how
But
do you see those two places?
I've in fact made some very good friends in Lakshadweep with whom I still keep talking, chatting on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But Lakshadweep is a very manicured experience in the sense that everything is only you're paying about 10, 12,000 a night easily for your rooms. And some of those rooms could be very
Right.
basic. Like I stayed in Bangaram Island. There were about 17,000 rupees a night back in 2008, which is a fair amount of money back then when you look at
Right.
parity. And
Right.
when I look at it, Lakshadweep is like your options are very limited. You're stuck on either this island or that island. You can do a couple of things. It's a beautiful place, no doubt. Even more unexplored than the Andamans are. But Andamans is a bit
Mm-hmm.
like Maggie noodles. You can customize it the way you want. Lakshadweep is like a pre-arranged package. See, there's no fun.
Yeah.
I cannot go land up next morning की inspiration लगा और मेरे को अभी ये island पे जाके land करना नहीं हो सकता है वो because in
नहीं हो
Lakshadweep
सकता।
go get a permit, you need to sit on a boat, वो suspense चला जाता है. So by
हाँ, right.
and basically stay in a backpacker hut, find some government officials, stay with them because I've seen some very interesting documentaries on the Andamans recently, and
Yeah.
people have gone stayed in tribal villages too, with of course the right permissions. I think
Yeah.
recommend the Andamans over Lakshadweep just because of the fact that it's a little more customizable. Your experiences there are on road as well as on water, so you have a lot more things to do. And there's of course a very rich history on what's happened in the Andamans to know in terms of
Right.
various civilizations, wars, World War II happened there. So there's a lot more
Right.
as opposed to just Lakshadweep, but it's been about what 2009 I went to Lakshadweep. Yeah, it's about time I guess. Let's see.
Yeah, and I think going to Lakshadweep is difficult also because everything is managed by the government authority of sports. So everything needs to be planned up through them. So it kind of becomes difficult for people to do everything. And again, it's expensive also compared to
You
Andaman.
need to go through a travel agent. Like even I had to
Yeah.
go through a travel agent at that point because she was giving me a discount on the only India flight that was coming, and she
Asha.
apparently had her own,
Okay.
rates with Air India. So
Yeah.
need to. Otherwise, I'm not somebody who likes a pre-arranged package given to me. I like to have some amount of variability in me wanting to change or doing something because
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do the next morning. I just wake up even on a holiday. Like
Yeah.
last December, I went to Goa for 10 days. I didn't film for 8 of the days that I was there. I didn't feel like
Yeah.
filming because I usually film, do a lot of vlogging, but that's who I am. I take it as it comes. So that way, I think
Right.
the Andamans, and that's actually the reason why I decided Andamans was better. Also, in terms of cost, uh, Lakshadweep is way expensive. 10,000 to 12,000 rupees a night that you're paying. Not only that,
Yeah.
for the inter-island transport, you're going to pay 5,000 per journey per person if your island is far away. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've heard some interesting tales of the locals in this book called Borderlands by Pradeep Damodar. He has been to
Okay.
every border city across India, and Minikoi is one of the places in Lakshadweep he's been to. I learned a few things
Yeah.
about how these people operate, what their daily routines are. So I'm happy to do it again. But yeah, if you have to pick between these two, Andamans is a place.
Makes sense. Completely makes sense. So, moving on, I know that I was going through your blog, I was reading through your blog, and like you also said before, I realized that you have extensively traveled to the vacation state of India, which is Goa. And Goa is loved by so many people, like it's like on the list of everyone you talk about. So, what is that in Goa you love so much about? I mean, because you have been traveling like extensively to that place.
I think, yeah, what I like in Goa has changed over time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, last year, it felt like an alumni meet because whichever street I go, there is some friend of mine who I've met, and I think, and all of them got to meet each other because these are people that I've met in different walks of life. And if I go
Okay.
for breakfast at one cafe, I have one classmate from MBA there. If I go for lunch somewhere, I have one of my colleagues in an earlier company. Then for night dinner, I have somebody else who had worked with me at cricket.com. And so it was this very beautiful place. And my parents also now like Goa. So earlier they
Uh-huh.
used to say, "Yeah, why is this guy keeping on going to Goa? We live in a city where the beach is 5 kilometers from where we live, and us
Yeah.
takes a 1,000 kilometer train all the way to the west coast to go and to go to Goa." So
Yeah.
they also now realize that Goa is a nice place, and I've also realized over time that if you are able to find out your own places of interest in Goa, Goa is actually not that crowded. Of course, you'll have to only stay away from the ABC of Goa, which is Anjuna, Baga, Kalangut. If you're able to move away,
Yeah.
there are lots of paradises that are waiting to be explored. But I think one of the reasons now that I go frequently to Goa is that if you want a beach that has different types of food items, you will find it in Goa. You will not find it in Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh or Orissa. That different types of cuisine you will not find. The second thing is Goa for some reason is still a series of villages, and at its heart, it's just a series of villages, and that village flavor is still there. So I go to Goa to have that small town vibe, where it's a very family type atmosphere, where you know the locals, you're talking with them, sitting with them, and I found 2 3 villages which I go on a rotation basis where I know people, and that way it's a very familiar feeling. Also, I think each of the beaches have lifeguards. I don't know swimming, not as my son, but we enjoy getting into the sea, and we have a lot of other friends who also do that. So I think having a lifeguard on the beach is some level of safety. So these are the three
Mm-hmm.
reasons, prime most, that Goa wins over any other beach location. And of course, there are a lot of other reasons just because in terms of the natural beauty that Goa offers and the vibe that Goa offers, I don't think any other state in India offers that right now.
Right. I think a lot of people have different reasons for going to Goa, but then your reasons somehow make sense to me, like why you keep on going. So, since when have you started going to Goa? Like, how long has that been?
I think my first trip was in 2006 February. I remember there was
Okay.
I had read a blog on a Wednesday evening. It was of a travel writer called Anita Bora. She was
Okay.
a colleague of mine at Infosys and also a travel writer for Rediff. And
Okay.
she had spoken about this place called Gokarna. And and for some reason, I liked the fact that there was a hill by the beach. And I told my friend, man, this place looks really interesting. I've never seen a hill by the beach because in Chennai we don't have hills by the beach there. So he was also Vela. We said, okay, we were working in the same office. So we said,
Yeah.
okay, we did Tatkal tickets to go from Chennai to Mangalore. Again, on a Wednesday we saw it. We booked tickets for Thursday evening. 5 o'clock we left office. 5:30 was the train. And yeah,
Yeah.
next day we are transported 1,000 kilometers apart in Gokarna. And while I had done that, I had forgotten that I had to book the return part. I was so excited to just go there. And I realized I need to
Okay.
get back in time for work. Monday was if I took a flight. And the
Yeah.
airport to Gokarna was Goa. So we booked an air Deccan flight from Goa to Bangalore and booked a train. So that's how I accidentally entered Goa in February 2006. And I liked what I saw. And I was a regular reader of Outlook Traveler, and I did like 6 months of research on what are the places in Goa. And then in December that year, I took about like I think a week off, and I was about anyway. The following year, I was about to go do my MBA, so I just thought it will be a good time to chill with friends before I take off for my MBA. And that's when I discovered Goa. That was my second trip. And now, yeah, there are 34 trips in between. I think I've gone 36 times to Goa in that time now.
Oh my God. 36 is a big number for a place.
It is. I think it just means the see again. Each of the 36 times that I've gone, I've discovered something new about the place. And I again, my friend spent 4 months there, and I've come to
Hmm.
know that there are some 30, 40 more experiences that can happen in Goa, which I wasn't aware of. So I think that state has, for some reason, a lot of experiences that you can look out to do. And yes, sometimes I may over exaggerate because it's Goa, but Goa has its own vibe that needs to be.
Yeah. Any interesting stories from Goa?
Sure. I think one thing was this was around March 2009. Me and my friend, we were working in Bombay, and he was in Kolhapur, doing some medical sales. And he called me and said, "Dude, from Kolhapur, Goa is nearby. Why don't you just catch a train and come?" And I remember taking a train from Bombay, just got on an unreserved compartment. And next morning, my friend called me and said, okay, I'm waiting for you at Sawantwadi Road railway station. So just get down there. And I remember at 4 in the morning, me and my friend, his name is Vinay, he was my MBA classmate, uh, a very intrepid traveler. Both of us like traveling together. And we ended up watching a test match at 4 in the morning in a railway station. And then we, took a bus wherever the bus went. And the bus took us to one small village in Goa called Keri. And
Okay.
there was a farmer there. He was the only person on the beach, and he said, "अगर आपको रात को रुकना है यहाँ पे, you can stay here. I'll go give you a bed, and I will come and sleep with you guys." And uh, the farmer came and slept. And that night, when I got up at 3, I saw this brilliant full moon night shimmering, and nobody on the beach. And it was like uh, I hadn't seen a sight like that before. And that's one of the reasons why I actually love taking a dip in the sea. Of course, not much deeper because I don't know swimming. Taking a dip in the sea, in the middle of the night or when the tide has gone down. And actually, it's not going to be very cold. It's much warmer than what you think it is outside. So outside the winds are going to be a little chill, but it's brilliant being inside the ocean at 2 or 3 in the night. And I think that sight has stayed with me. That's why I kind of keep going to that beach, and I keep sending those beach photos or videos to some of my friends who actually think I have a
Yeah.
full-time job traveling. So that I
Yeah.
remember. I think the other was in 2020, sorry, 2012. And me and my friend, colleague, had gone to this beach in Arambol. And on my BlackBerry through Facebook, I figured out that there was an end of the world party. So we
Okay, end of the world.
end of the world party because it was 2012, right? December 21st, 2012, the world ends
Yeah,
then. So this was December
yeah,
2012.
yeah.
And as we were walking, we saw it led to something called Sai Bar. And I thought Sai and Bar were because Sai is a very religious name. And uh, to use it in the same connotation as a bar was very strange. And then I go
Right.
inside, it's Sai Bar, PSY. So for some reason,
Okay.
a Sai bar outside. And then inside, I see, I think somebody who was East European. And I asked her, I said, there's an end of the world party I saw on the Blackberry. Is there any party here? Because there are only two people there. And she said, there is no party here, but if you want, we can do party. I play music, we do party. I said, look, Bangalore. Okay. And I thought there's something happening. That's why I came here. If nothing is happening, let me know where you think a good party is happening. I like the concept of the end of the world. What if the world
Yeah,
actually? And then she
yeah.
said, okay, you want party, you need to go straight, go find the temple, buy temple, park bike, search for forest, trees. Near the trees, the mountain starts. Before the tree and mountain, small forest. There, party, you go party. My friend and I thought she was just, faking that Russian accent. But
Yeah,
because we searched for 45 minutes in the night, and in the
yeah,
winter in Goa, it gets pretty misty at night. You can't see what's happening in front of you. And then we saw
yeah.
one shirtless foreigner going. Then we thought, "Acha, to jaga to sahi hai." So, and it turned out to be one of those hippie parties at night, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just gobsmacked in terms of what I saw, what was happening around. And I was trying to click with my camera, and then someone said, "Hey, are you from the press? Are you a good guy or a bad guy?" I said, "I'm a good guy, man. What makes you think I'm a bad guy?" He said, "Then keep your camera down." So
Mm.
I think the whole night it was lovely speaking with people. We were near the campfire and which was warming up bodies, getting inside the sea. And I think we left only 6:30 in the morning after observing whatever was happening because we didn't understand much of the music. All of this were EDM music where people gain more energy after consuming drugs. Nor did we do drugs, nor do we not. I mean, me and my friend don't drink that much, so I mean, there's nothing that we could really involve ourselves in that hippie party, but it's nice to have a look, see how different people are, and how that part of the world is. And for everyone else who's saying that, see, but we also realize that we were kind of lucky to have chanced upon something like this, because every time somebody says, "हाँ गोवा गया था, party हुआ था," all they really mean
Huh.
is they went to Goa, they went to Baga, took a selfie outside. What is that place? Because Tito's
Yeah,
urban legend has become this place that people call awesome. And Tito's is
yeah.
basically 95% of boys go thinking women are there inside and finding more boys. They can't tell the world that the party was bad. So they have I was at Tito's. So
Yeah,
it's been about 10, 11, 12 years since I've even been near Baga site. I've been a
yeah.
conscious traveler, not going near the ABC of Goa. So, but yeah, I think that was another interesting incident that I remember in Goa. But there are quite a few actually. But yeah, these two, very vividly, come to mind as such.
Yeah, I like the way you say ABC of Goa. That's like defines all of it.
Because everybody in any vlog I see people are raving about Baga, and I don't understand the point where people spend all their energy in a traffic jam, uh, to look for the same comforts as home. Like I'm from Bangalore. Bangalore has traffic.
Yeah,
Why would you want traffic
yeah.
jams? Why would you want 10,000 people? It's not the Kumbh Mela.
Yeah,
So
right. Makes sense. So you talked about that village, Keri village. Yeah, is that in North Goa or South Goa?
that is in extreme North Goa. It's the northernmost beach, and that
Okay.
I think it's a little rivulet. If you cross that, that's Maharashtra. On this side, it's Goa.
Okay.
So basically, I could go have a tea in
Somewhere
Maharashtra.
near to Morjim. Somewhere near to Morjim.
Correct. There is this Shapura River. After the Shapura Fort, you have the Shapura River that cuts the two parts of North Goa. So you will
Yeah.
have Morjim, you will have Mandrem, you will have Aswem, and then you will have Arambol. After Arambol, which is the Sweet Lake, you have Keri, and after Keri, you have
Okay.
Terekhol, and Terekhol basically gets into Maharashtra after that.
Okay, interesting. And I also like that the way the women actually told you the directions to that world end party. That was kind of like a different kind of way to tell the place you're going to. That
Yeah,
itself adds on
even
some adventure.
she didn't tell me that this is the exact place. She just wanted to keep it cryptic, and I respected that. I thought, इतना cryptic बन रही है तो कुछ तो party रहेगा वहाँ पे.
Yeah. Right, right. So, I can see your travel basket is full of adventures. Like, it's filled with a lot of stories and a lot of adventures. So, has it happened with you before that, any scary situation appeared in front of you while you were traveling? Or maybe if not scary, any kindest of experience you had with the strangers? Anything like that?
Sure, I can. I'll maybe pick two stories that I'll talk about. One was I had gone to this little island called Perhentian Kechil in Malaysia on a sudden whim.
Okay.
I'd actually gone to Kuala Lumpur and I had some
Uh-huh.
work and वो weekend आ रहा था तो I decided to postpone my flights. And I didn't realize that you go to Perhentian Kechil and these guys don't accept ATMs don't work there. So and I thought whatever rupees I had, rupees also they don't convert because they only convert the US dollar. And Indian rupee is the last point to exchange in Kuala Lumpur. And I was
Okay.
actually there on that island with a very tough time. I had no currency in hand, and I just had some 100 ringgits, and I had to manage 3 days in that island because my return boat or this thing was only a day or two later. So that's one story. The other one was where somebody actually came to hit me with like a pole, and maybe that makes for more interesting reading. So this was there's a little backstory to this. So I was
Hmm.
traveling on the train from Bangalore to Goa, and I heard early morning. I heard a waterfall, and I was like, "ये waterfall कहाँ से आ रहा है? मेरे को दिख नहीं रहा है waterfall." So what I did was I just took a photo of the place from the train. Only the help is that the geolocation is tracked. It is it's there embedded.
Yeah.
I came here back after the exact geolocation and then went inside the forest to go find the place. And there was actually this beautiful place where first you have to get down that railway track. You have to go walk down and you have a small water crossing. So the water is up to
Hmm.
this level. So I have to keep all my camera gears, tent, everything like this and then walk. Tripod basically. And
Yeah.
and then I found one small patch of land there, and the water is chill. And when the small waterfall when it hits your back, right, it feels like a mint massage. That's how beautiful it was. So I came there. I basically put my tripod and I was taking some long exposures. And as the
Yeah.
light is fading, the long exposure, generally comes out better. And I सोचा
Yeah.
कि बारिश हो रही, I mean the rain was starting. This is monsoon season in Goa. I think sometime July 2015. And I said, okay, fine. I think I should go back. It's a very small village called Kulim in Goa. That's where people go
Okay.
to for Dudhsagar. And
Yeah.
I was coming back. I was wearing this poncho, raincoat kind of gear, and I had two
Yeah.
SL along my necks because I don't want this in the rain. You don't want to go
And you
change.
were solo? Like you were
I
solo?
I was solo on this trip. I had just gone to do
Okay.
recce for this particular spot. Yeah, I know
Mm-hmm.
it's too much to put for a trip, but yeah, I was so besotted by that waterfall because I think
Yeah.
that's the song that came out, Kabhi Jo Badal Barse from Jackpot.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
place also had this amazing waterfall. So I was like, okay, they're able to go find places. What's the point of travel if you don't have adventure and you can't find such places? So I was kind of
Yeah.
determined that I should also do something. So as I was coming back with two SLRs dangling on my neck, somebody on the corner of I had my tripod in my hand, and I noticed somebody was advancing towards me. They were getting closer, and beyond a point, it looked like they were about to hit me. And I was like, no man, this is Goa. I mean, they're chill people. They won't try to hit me. And then somebody with
Yeah.
a pistol actually was so close to hitting me that I had to use my tripod as a means for his blow to land on my tripod. And that's
Yeah.
how I wielded more blows. He hit all the second blows on the tripod. I ran, shouted "Bachao, bachao," and then the local villagers started to come out. And
Yeah.
then I said, "Boss, I don't know why this guy is trying to hit me. मैं आपके resort में रहता हूँ." It's the Jungle Book Resort that is there in Kulim, and
Okay.
the resort employs close to 30-40 of the local villagers. So they know
Yeah.
because in the monsoons, I think they have 40-50 rooms, but I was their only customer that day. So they very well knew that this guy exists and he's part of our tribe types. So they came out
Yeah.
and they asked him, "तुम काय को उसको मारा?" Then he said, "मेरे को दूर से Batman लगा इसलिए मैं मारा." I was, how can somebody
Yep.
do that as a reason? So I looked like Batman, and that's why this guy wanted to come and hit me.
Was he drunk?
He was. He was coming from the bar that was there, and
Yeah.
that scared me because I had a lot of elaborate plans to wake up at 4 in the morning and walk and find the underground waterfall and again take some shots. And the whole
Yeah.
night I didn't sleep because the rain increased. And with every passing rain or shower, right, when it hits the asbestos roof, I'm very scared there because और क्या हो सकता है? What if that guy finds that I'm in this room and he tries to come and kill me? So a lot
Oh
of
my God.
strange thoughts because I'm not somebody who's very scared, especially
Yeah.
exploring other places and stuff like that. That was the first time I got
Yeah.
really freaked out on travel, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was
So do people know about this place? Like you're talking about this underwater waterfall
I
sort
don't
of?
think it's a place because when I went there, the next year I went, I was the only one camping there. Nobody even knew about the place. So, see, again, if your ears are sharp, you will know that वहाँ पे तो कुछ है वहाँ पे. So only if you go there, a blog about it on Tripoto some time back, where I wrote the whole trek or how to get to this place. But I think if you're somebody smart, you'll figure out. If you're able to hear, you'll know where to exactly go down.
So you keep on going to that place now, like Goa, or
I
was
think
that once or twice it
I
was
think
the plan?
there was this period in 2013, 14, 15. Those 3 years, I think I went there 5 times. So
Oh,
after that, I haven't gone there because I got the shots that I wanted. But yeah, this is the monsoon time, and maybe there's not going to be too much crowd. But again, the only question is, those days I was much younger. As I get older, the only thing I have is I don't know how much of adventure I can take because I have to also entertain my 9-year-old son. And usually, whatever little adventures I have these days in Goa is after I make my son asleep. Like he goes to sleep at 8:39, then
yeah,
around we decide to go somewhere nearby, go for a walk, and decide okay we'll take some sunrise shots at this hill. So all of that is
yeah,
in the sleep, not when he is awake. So that way the number of adventure has come down. But maybe if I do a solo trip, yes, all of the
yeah.
adventures are there.
But then did you try taking anyone to that place, or you kept it for all for yourself?
No. 13, I heard that the water is there. 14, I went there. 15, I took
Yeah.
7 of my friends from Chennai, and we actually went and camped in 2 places. The first place we camped was in that waterfall. 5 of them saw the place and said, "Boss, I don't want any kind of risk. Next morning, I want to be alive. I don't know if there's a bloody python that's waiting here. You guys stay here."
Yeah.
And then 3 of us stayed that night. We didn't know if the
Yeah.
water would rise because it was a small patch of land. So we kept those stones one on top of the other in the hope that
Yeah.
the water level rises. हम torch से देखेंगे रात को कि अगर if it is तो हम tent को pack up करके चले जाएंगे. So
अच्छा.
that was our appetite for adventure. And suddenly somebody spotted us from the railway track and said, "कौन है वहाँ पे? इधर आ रहा हूँ मैं." And then he started to come down. And then suddenly, I'm sure you encountered this water. He would have got very scared because it's pitch dark, 8:30 in the night. People will think कि यहाँ पे कोई मगरमच्छ रहेगा, सांप रहेगा, and then they went back. But that was the first time. First thing I did was I just went inside the tent, asked my friends also to go in, and then I realized, अरे यार मेरा camera tripod पे वहाँ पे था because I just throughout the night I kept taking long exposures. Then after I inside the tent, तभी याद आया अरे tripod को वहाँ पे छोड़ दिया मैंने. So I then realized बाहर जाना है कि नहीं जाना है. तो अच्छा कैमरा गया तो गया, but life is important. And then but that so I have shared that place with friends. I just hope it's as pristine as it is when I found it in 2015.
Yeah, and would you recommend people to go there, like after reading a blog or anything? Would you recommend that place?
What's happened over the years, that was that the day after I went, I camped in the Dudhsagar railway station too. There's no railway station, small patch of asbestos land. And that day 2 people died. And after that, they have subsequently banned all kinds of treks or walks within the Dudhsagar track in the
Right.
monsoons.
Right.
So it's not easy getting there in the monsoons because if a police or somebody spots you, you're liable for arrest. So that's why that's one of the reasons why I haven't also gone back to Dudhsagar because वो season में जाने का कोई मजा नहीं है. उस season में पानी, I mean, you there's no adventure there.
Ah,
You sit in the jeep,
right.
the jeep will take you. Monsoon में people
Right.
walk the track, you can get lost inside the forest. I've got lost inside
Yeah.
the forest. And luckily, I found a goods train. I heard the goods train. Someone told me there कि आवाज जब goods train की पहली सुनाई देती है तब से to the point that on the top of the hill it will take 15 minutes because it's uphill. Slowly आता है वो. So we were able to go find. I was against lost with friends. We were able to go find
Yeah.
that small railway station called Sonalium. So
Okay.
spot is actually between Kulem and Sonalium, the underground waterfall.
Yeah.
And at Sonalium, the station master asked the goods train to stop for us. We got on to the last compartment of the goods train with the TT of this thing. Sat with him.
Yeah.
Kept our hand like this. Watched the night sky, evening sky. It was brilliant traveling in a goods train.
Yeah. Sounds like so much fun. I mean, I'm sure this was one of your most thrilling of kind of adventures. Scary, but at the same time thrilling also.
Definitely, definitely. I think I never expected that I'll be rescued, but the goods train came to our rescue.
Yeah, this reminds me of one of my own adventures. Like it happened a couple of years back. I mean, I don't know if you have heard of Rajmachi Trek, quite famous among Pune and Mumbai people.
Correct.
Yeah, so it was like a couple of years back. We had gone to this trek. I was with around 10 of us were there, like friends, you know.
Fireflies and this thing? Fireflies?
Yeah, Firefly is also there, but then Rajmachi itself is a very long trek, and there are two forts over there which you can go and explore. So what happened was that it was mid of monsoon season, like a peak season, and you know how it rains over here.
Right.
So we start from Lonavala actually. And what happened that day was it was pouring like cats and dogs that day. Like since the start of the trek, it was raining, and it was like around 7 o'clock in the morning we started, and around 12:30 or 1 o'clock we actually reached the fort, the area where villagers were there and everything. We had our lunch, and then we thought that it's a very long walk. Let's just ask the villagers that is there a shortcut or anything to go back. So villagers told us there's a shortcut. But you would actually make it to Karjat rather than Lonavala. And we were like, fine, train में थोड़ा देर ज़्यादा बैठ जाएंगे चलेगा, but इतना लंबा walk वापस नहीं करना है करके. And we decided to take that route. What that villagers didn't tell us that was actually a waterfall route. That wasn't a normal route, and it was peak of monsoons, and like there were streams and everything flowing here and there. And after coming to like quite a distance, we realized it was a waterfall and not like a proper trail to go by. And I remember, crabs and all those weird insects flowing in that river and in all those streams. Somehow we lost our way. We were in deep jungle, didn't know how to come out. And we I don't know how it happened, but there were two other groups also, like 10 each in that group, and they were also lost like us. So we were actually 30 people lost in that jungle, no network coverage, no way to know how we should actually exit the jungle from there. And everybody was so terrified and worried what would happen. Rain is not stopping. There's no place to make a place for everyone to stay and all. And then later on, we decided let's all 30 be together so that at least we'll have a couple of people to be with each other. And two of the guys from other group volunteered that, we should just go ahead and try finding a trail or maybe someone so that we can come out of this jungle. Luckily, they got two villagers. They came by to take us. Then we actually went to that village, and they arranged for auto rickshaws so that we can go to Karjat. And I think we were back by 12 or 1 in the night to Pune that night. And that was whole crazy night because I know at that moment we were terrified. What is going to happen this night? Whether we would be able to get out of the jungle or not, nobody knew. But then if I talk about today, it is one of the craziest experiences I had, like, from my adventures. So I can totally relate to what you're saying, like, the kind of thrill you get obviously on those moments it's difficult and you're worried and everything, anxiety kicks in, but later on it makes the best of memories, I
Right.
guess.
It's only after all of this is passed do you tend to
Yeah.
value it, and then you say, "यार कोई
Right.
लौटा मेरे बीते हुए दिन" types.
Right. And I think that tells you so much about yourself also. Like, you get to know about yourself, that how do you react to these situations, and when fear actually kicks in, how do you respond to it? So I think that is something you learn when you actually get into such kind of situation.
And you also get to know how other people think because when, like, for example, my friends, 5 of them said, "Boss, I'm not staying here. Some cobra will eat
Yeah.
me alive." I was like, "Why would they
Yeah.
do that?" Then I realized different people are different, and it's only
Right.
when you go through that on a trip are you able to
Yeah.
understand humans, are you able to understand okay how the mind works for different people, and respect
Yeah.
each. So yes, I think travel is a great way to actually understand people. If there are any
Yeah. You know,
doubts, I
yeah, you
think
talked about
have
this people thing. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that I was talking with a friend the other day. If there are single people there, and I think traveling is a great way to know one another rather than just having marriages just on the basis of horoscope or something like that. I think traveling is a
Yeah.
great way to know people because you're going to go through moments of ecstasy and moments of despair. So that way you get to
Right.
understand better.
Yeah, like you talked about people. I remember on this trip what happened when there was no network coverage, and this was one girl in other group. She had this like one little signal in her phone, and all that she did with that network was calling up a friend and telling that, "Mama ko bata dena, mujhe thoda late hoga" करके, and everybody was pissed off that, and the network went off after that, and we couldn't get any more network. So everybody was pissed off on her that, prioritizing
Right?
wasn't a thing for her. Like all she wanted to do was call her friend and maybe save her ass or whatever. But yeah, that happened. So yeah, these adventures are fun and create a lot of memories to cherish later times, obviously. So, we are almost, I think, at end of our talk. What are your future plans of travel? Where do you plan to travel once the situation gets better, this COVID thing gets better?
Okay, the default option is if you don't have any travel plan, I end up in Goa. So one of my is
Of
just
course.
Karishma has just joined. So yeah, she was actually I think putting it somewhere on her Instagram that she's also looking to go to Goa. So I think that
Okay.
we had a great time in Goa last November or so, where a bunch of us had gone, and I think there are some places that we still haven't properly seen or explored. So I'm also having one of my friends on that trip. He's now decided to quit his job and move full time to Goa to do farming. So
Wow.
looking forward to setting up his base and maybe living there in the mountains. But while Goa is a more default choice, I was looking at getting back to the Andaman Islands again.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's possible to even get to Nicobar, but I've been fascinated by what I've seen of Little Andaman and islands in Nicobar like Kamorta and Campbell Bay. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
possible to go. I'm just because as long as one thing I've realized is in the pandemic, as long as you have access to internet, you can do your work from anywhere. You just need to
Right.
communicate with internet and you need good signals. So,
Right.
but how much you can stretch it. So, because
Yeah.
sometimes in Andaman, I've been there, 4G signals are like completely, it's like a 4G free zone, internet free zone. So, uh,
Yeah.
that's the only fear. So, nowadays, even if you're planning a holiday, I think it's going to be to a place where your network is fairly assured. So, that's how I think, as much as I have these dreams of going to 10 different places, I'd probably go
Yeah.
pick the network and then decide where I want to go.
Yeah, because it's like a work from home concept these days after pandemic hit us.
Right,
So definitely a place with internet is always preferable.
right, absolutely.
Yeah. So Nicobar is on your list. Any other place planning to go?
Uh, See, well, yeah, one was of course the places in Karnataka itself where I wanted
Mhm.
to do a rainforest drive and also,
Okay.
hit the coast. The Konkan coastline is beautiful to actually go drive in the monsoons. And I don't
Yeah.
know if the trains are functional, but now that I have like a couple of drones at home and I'm learning how to create better shots, I'm actually curious to see how can I fly my drone up The other day in Bangalore, I flew my drone because the clouds were very low. At 1,000 feet, you had a lot of clouds. So I want to fly my drone through clouds and then take it to the parallel to the railway track. So
Yeah.
I probably do Bangalore, Sakleshpura, Chikmagalur, Udupi, and then maybe to Gokarna and then come back. So that's the route I'm thinking of. Some of my friends have also said it's a great route to plan something along. So let's see.
Yeah, sounds like a plan, like interesting places to go. So
Great.
thank you so much, Karthik. It was so much fun talking to you. And by the way, if our viewers want to follow you, follow your travels, where they can find you?
Just search up for the same Instagram ID that we have. By the same
Okay.
name is my YouTube channel, which is kachutravels.com. So Kachu is how I'm
Okay.
called at home. It's a log of all my
Okay.
travels. Yeah, it's basically me and my 9-year-old son. Whenever we travel, we try to log it. Whenever
Okay.
possible to do a solo trip, I tend to vlog from that too. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
essentially what I do in terms of documenting my travels.
Great. And your famous beach trail is also listed on your blog, like the one you did inspired by the beach novel.
Yes, yes. I think if you're interested in Thailand and you want to do something different from just Bangkok or Phuket, you can try this trail. There's a lot of excitement in new places you could discover, and of course Koh Phangan, which is home to the full moon party, which I'm sure a lot of Indians would
Yeah.
have heard. So it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun along the way.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Karthik. It was really, really fun talking to you. And we hope you get to more adventures and get us more stories from your adventures.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you again next Sunday with another wonderful traveler. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Stay safe.